Hey everybody, we're back with another episode of Sled Tech, and on today's episode, we got the cross-country race sled that you can snow check, the 2026 Indy XCR. Let's get into it. Now, for decades in the Indy lineup, the XCR has been the toughest, most aggressive setup for aggressive cross-country riding. Big bumps, moguls, single track, ditches, approaches, big jumps. That's what XCR is all about. And before we talk about XCR, we got to talk about how we do development for XCR. And how we do development and innovation and testing for XCR is actually pretty simple. We go cross-country racing. That's it. Now the big brother to the Indy XCR is the Indy Cross Country. That's our factory limited build race sled that we race in the cross country circuit, Iron Dog, and more. And that's where we go develop the next evolution and the next generation of the ultra aggressive, big bump, rough terrain sleds. When we get into some of the new updates and cool changes for 2026, that's exactly where they came from, is the racetrack. We win a lot of cross-country races, we win a lot of Iron Dog races, and we take that development and bring it into XCR and then let you guys snow check them. For 2025, we launched the Indy VR1 with Dynamics, the Polaris built, fully adjusting, on-the-fly suspension package that electronically controls all four shocks. That sled is set up for aggressive trail riding and super awesome handling around any kind of types of trails. The way we think about it internally is it's set up like a rally car. You watch those world rally cars in the rally racing and they're flying around these gravel corners, sliding around. They look like they're just glued to the gravel going crazy fast around these turns. That's what Indy VR1 Dynamics is all about. It's also set it and forget it. You got 3 modes with Dynamics: Comfort, Rally, Extreme. If you want to learn more, go check out the Dynamics video. And you set it and forget it. Dynamics and its IMU system does all the work. All you do is ride the sled and enjoy the ride on the trails. Indy XCR is not that. Indy XCR is set up very differently, and it's with a different rider in mind. Internally, we think about Indy XCR as the trophy truck. It's not the most precise handling on super flat ground or high-speed corners, but when the holes get big and the jumps get bigger, that's where this sled shines. XCR is top shelf mechanical suspension, full 2-inch Walker Evans Velocity hardware, just like a lot of our race sleds. And it lets you tune, tweak, and dial it in, right? Spring adjustments, high-low speed compression. It puts you in the driver's seat for suspension setup, setting it up however you'd like. So for 2026, new on the Indy XCR is the Longtail rear suspension. So this came right off the cross-country sled. We've been racing it for the last couple years, like I mentioned, and now it's available on the Indy XCR 137. In addition to the Longtail rear suspension, we took the entire suspension setup about 20% more aggressive. As you guys are out pushing this sled hard, these Longtails make the sled able to be pushed a little bit harder, and we brought the entire suspension setup a little bit more aggressive, about 20%, to fall in line and really deliver an entire package that is way better bottom out resistance and way better throttle on steering. The other piece that's new for 2026 on Indy XCR, you might notice on the back of the tunnel, is it's a 137. It used to be 128, 136. Now it's 129 and 137. The 3-track choices are the same. Still the 135 Cobra, the 1.25 Ice Ripper, and then the 1.6 Cobra. Now just in 129 and 137. Now, to talk a little bit more about Longtail suspension, the upgraded calibration, and how it all works together, we're going to invite a guest on the show, a friend of the show, Matt Prusak, who's one of our lead engineers for suspension systems and has a lot of history with trail sled suspensions and cross-country racing. All right, well, thanks for joining us, Matt. Appreciate it. First question for you really here is just, how does the Longtail work? What's changed and what's it doing down there?
Yeah, you bet. We can come get down here and take a closer look now. Like you said, the Longtail suspension was originally developed on the cross-country course with our 600 cross-country race sled. The torsion spring of a rear suspension is right here. And what you're going to find on the model year 26 XCR is that it's significantly longer.
So where was it and where did it move to?
Yeah, the mount for the torsion spring moved approximately 8 inches further forward. When we talk about a Longtail torsion spring, we're talking about the length of this portion right here.
So now that it's in front of the rear mount of the front torque arm, like as the suspension cycles, what's different? What's
Yeah.
changed?
You bet. So as the suspension cycles, the torsion spring is going to wind up, and it applies load to the rail beam. And where you put that load is really important. What we developed in cross country, and we've now brought with XCR, that load is shared well between the front torque arm and the rear torque arm.
And so now that we've got the load better distributed, it sounds like, where do we see that out in the rough snow, out on the track?
Where you're going to feel this difference is the sled's going to want to track much straighter through the bumps, and then also accelerating out of a corner. It's going to keep the skis planted better for improved handling.
So in addition to the Longtails, we took the whole suspension setup kind of just up 20% more aggressive. How did we accomplish that?
Yeah, you bet. So it was a combination of spring rates across the entire vehicle. The rear torsion springs got stiffer. The front track shock spring, we decreased the length of the initial rate, so it actually picks up the heavier spring rate earlier. Okay. And then on the front suspension, we increased the spring rate there as well. In addition to the springs, we also had the chance to go back and add valving. So you'll see an improved calibration across the vehicle with the shocks themselves.
And with higher spring rates, more aggressive valving, the Longtails, like what does the higher spring rate and the more aggressive valving get us? Where are we going to see that out in the snow?
You're going to see it everywhere. So traditional XCR stuff, G-outs, bumps, jumps, road approaches, you're going to be able to hit this stuff faster and with more confidence.
That's awesome. So Matt, you were there when we were doing some initial development work with Aaron Christensen and Alex Satine and the rest of the race team. Yep. They loved it. What do you think our riders are going to think?
I mean, the proof has been on the racetrack that the changes we've made to the cross-country sled have improved our success there. What our customers are going to feel are the same benefits, where they're going to be able to ride more confidently, faster, and just have more fun doing stuff that an XCR does well.
That sounds like a dang good time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
You bet.
So for 2026, you get all of the awesome suspension upgrades that we just talked about. XCR is available with 2 engines for 2026, the Patriot 9R like we're looking at here, and then our 650 Patriot. Both of those engines are very race inspired, quick acceleration, low inertia, and match perfectly to the XCR. Like always in SnowCheck, there'll be SnowCheck exclusive customization, so pick your color, pick your track, pick your style, and get the XCR that's just right for you. That's all we got time for today. Thanks for watching today's episode of Sled Tech, and we'll see you guys next time.